Let's jump over to the AI and get some help for how to do this. So in the AI, I can just ask it, I want to embed a photo I have on Google Drive in my sheet. What is the code for doing that in a cell? And then right here, the AI will tell me it's using the image function. And then it's going to give you an example of the code. So we have image equal image URL, the mode, the height, and the width. And then right after that, it even tells us how the mode works. So for example, mode 2, which is the one I'm using, you stretch the image to fill the cell. So whatever the size the cell is will be the size that the image is. And then we go ahead and we get some example from the AI also. And it tells you here's an example. And then I can even turn around and say, okay, here's my photo. So I give it the URL of my photo and I ask it, what do I do now? And he knows what to do. The AI will just go right ahead and say, this is the ID. It says right here, the file ID is this. So you need to use the file ID inside that formula for image. And if you want to change the size or customize the size, you can use this customization number 4 and then the size. In our case, we're going to use mode 2, which just stretches it to fit. So that's exactly what we needed to do. So if we forgot what to do or we tried it and it didn't turn out right, we can just turn right over the AI and get this input. And you can see here, that's what we've done perfectly. Image, and then we have the https drive google.com/uc export equals view ampersand and then the ID right there, the ID at the very end. Let me grab it here, show you. There it is, the ID. Remembering the quotation marks. So that is super helpful to have the ID, which makes everything easy, and super easy to have the AI help us if we get something a little bit wrong or we forget. So you can see if we take the link and we go ahead and paste it into the browser and press enter, we end up getting that whole photo that shows up. Of course, it's a huge photo because it's the original size, but we can specify a different size, or as I did in this one, use this mode 2. And 2 just means make the size equal to the size of the cell that we're inside. So here we get the picture, which is the same as this picture here, only smaller to fit the cell. So we can adjust the cell size. If we adjust this, you see the picture will fit the same size. Okay, so this is the list of equipment. Next, we're going to look at the data validation. So data validation in Google Sheets means you can add colors or formats or other things like here, drop-down menus to your sheet. And there's many ways to do that, to change based on values or based on different kinds of relationships. But the easy one is just a drop-down menu like this. So what we do is we select an area, a cell, then we go to data, then we go to data validation. And here we can see on our whole sheet where we have some already existing data validation. So we have B2 to B500, which is everything in here. And B2 to B500, we're going to do what? We're going to have a drop-down menu, and that is going to include good, broken, repair, and retired. So these are the options that the office has decided that the equipment will be checked off as. It's good, it's broken, it needs repair, which is a really handy thing to know, or it's retired, it's not used anymore. Now, if we wanted to change or add more, we would just add them here, and then that drop-down menu would include those. Because we're creating that list all the way down to B500, then it keeps them all the way down. I'm going to scroll down all the way down to the bottom, and you can see it's gone all the way down to B500. And if I click the 500 row, I get the same menu. If I choose one of those, then of course it changes. So I can choose repair, you can see. And we are also changing the color, which also is a data validation. Repair, broken, or good. Okay, so if we wanted to make a new data validation, we can practice this in the A row here. And come over here, a data validation, and I can add a rule. You just add a rule, and then you can do what you want to do. It could be a drop-down menu, it could be some text, it could be text that changes, it could be colors, it could be anything like that. I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to take this rule off, and we still have the existing rule, which is the B column. And we have the B column with the drop-down menu. See here, drop-down menu, very simple. We have some advanced options. Come down here. We can show that if the user does something that's wrong or something that's not in the list, what will happen, and they may get a warning or they may get the input's not accepted. We can change the colors of the options in the menu, but in this case they're keeping everything just very clear, very easy to understand. So good, broken, repair, retired, black and white. We're going to head and close this now. So that's our data validation. The next thing we can do is we can change some formatting, which is very similar to data validation, and this is called conditional formatting. So in conditional formatting, if we choose that, we can see on this page we already have some conditional formatting. And this also is the B column, so it's B2 to B500 and B2 to B500. So we have two conditions that involve the B column. And we can just go ahead and see how that works, because if I choose repair, it turns red. The reason for this is that the staff can just look at this supply page here, this list of equipment page, and quickly see, is there anything that needs to be fixed? Is there anything that needs a repair? Is there anything that needs to be retired? That really saves a lot of trouble. Again, we had this issue before. Equipment would be returned, it's broken, nobody knows, or a student tells someone but they forget to report it, or they don't know what to do. So this really helps with the tracking. Now if we go back to good, then it turns green again. So let's go ahead and look at the rule. How do we make that? Well, the green is this rule here, and it just says that any value in the B2 to B500, so all the B values, if the text contains good, so if the word is good, then you use the green color for the background. Okay, simple. However, if we come down here and we use the same column B, and we can choose the text does not contain good. So anything that's not good would turn red in the background. So those two rules is how we make this change to red. Okay, so this is very helpful right here already, and we haven't really even done anything for interaction with the user yet. So this helps us organize our inventory, basically, all of our equipment. And look at this, they really do have a lot of equipment. Wow. 33 different items, and some of those items are multiple items, like whole classrooms and groups of items, so that's a lot of stuff. Okay, now what we do is we have a form response tab here, and the form response tab is the information that's coming in from the form. And you can see this should look familiar to you. This column here, A, is the timestamp, so when did the form get completed and sent in. So that usually includes a date and an exact time. And the whole page will be organized by that. So the earliest ones are on the top and the later ones are on the bottom. And then over here we have the information that we are requesting. So that includes things like the equipment number, the description, are we going to check in or are we checking out? and when is it going to be used, what's it going to be used for, and then we have the person who's borrowing it. We have the student number, the student email, the borrower's phone number, which is extremely handy, and I think that's it. Okay, so super clear, not that complicated. That form response tab, you can see, has this purple icon next to it. And why is that? Because it's linked to a form. And this is the form it's linked to, which we already looked at very shortly. And you can go ahead and put a nice little graphic on there, and you could even have graphics inside. It can look really nice. You can format the form to be very interesting and easy for the user to read. When students come into the room, they're going to go to a computer at the front desk, and they're going to get to this form. But how do they get to this form? Well, that leads us to the other document we have, which I call the equipment status document. So we just looked at the equipment management, which is like the database, equipment management database. But the page that the student's going to see, that the user's going to see, the user interface, the UI, is this document here, equipment status.